All right, ladies and gentlemen, we held on last night. We're going to try it again. Hopefully, technology cooperates. If it cooperates, I'm looking forward to this one because this is supposed to be really the thing here. When you think about nonstop action wrestling on Sportswire Radio over the past few months or so, we've been covering it. These are the two guys right here that are kind of at the center of everything. On one side, we've got Connor Cage, who some may call the Golden Boy. Others, maybe not so much. And then on the other hand, we've got the undefeated lawman, Kyle Kennedy, who's coming off an impressive victory at NSAW Asylum against Mikey Future. But there are some that may say the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, well, maybe he's worked his way into getting this spot here with a contract signing with Mr. Joshua Snow, the chairman of Nonstop Action Wrestling. He's kind of the middleman right now. He's got a tough spot. We'll see here if we can all get it right here in one spot. So, without further ado here on the Sports Report, number one level sports show, we have Nonstop Action Wrestling coverage with Joshua Snow, the chairman of Nonstop Action Wrestling, and Connor Gage, along with the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
I can't complain.
All right, fair enough. I mean, hopefully technology cooperates with us here. And I see a few people tuned in, obviously, from the CCW end of things. And we will get to some CCW in a little while, obviously, with Slugger Hampton, who we obviously know was at NSAW the last time we had an event here at Summertime Slaughterhouse. And good evening, obviously, to everybody who's watching and listening to this here live on Sportswire Radio. And gentlemen, I hope that everybody who's listening to this can tell us if we sound good or sound bad, and we'll try to parcel through all of it here. But Mr. Chairman, Joshua Snow, we're here, obviously ready for this contract signing for the winner of this match to be in the Fire and Gold 8-person tournament to crown the company's first ever world-class champion on August the 13th, and set the tables for us on what you hope to accomplish here tonight.
Well, I would like to say, as much as people think that I may be against them, regardless of what my viewpoints are, I'm here as a mediator. I'm here to make sure that the contracts are signed and that everything that needs to happen is going to happen on this very day. Oh, could have done it yesterday, but technical difficulties, we'll say. But regardless, all I want is clarification. Regardless of who wins, we know full well who's going to be walking in to Fire and Gold on August 13th. Whether it be Connor Cage or Kyle Kennedy, matters little to me. Honestly, it matters little to me, regardless of my viewpoints on either of them, regardless of if I like them or if I dislike them. Because in my eyes, both are worthy competitors, but clearly this is something that needs to be worked out between the two of them, and this is the perfect way to be able to resolve the differences.
And we've got some good news here because we're actually told we're sounding good so far. So people are obviously tuned in, and thank you for that. Pride says the audio issues plaguing your last attempt seem to be much improved. It is with great relish we watch and hope that the lawman Kyle Kennedy and their notoriously short temper manage a second attempt. So the lawman Kyle Kennedy, good to be with you. You have become in some ways a favorite of Sportswire Radio. I mean, I like you for whatever reason. I do like you, the lawman Kyle Kennedy. Well, you bring us ratings. You bring us ratings. You bring us listeners. You bring us viewers. I certainly enjoyed your last match. I saw at NSAW Asylum against Mikey Future. Big win. But what do you want to accomplish here tonight with this contract being signed? Obviously, we know we'll get Connor's perspective in a second because, well, this was for Connor's spot. But tell us how you feel right now.
You know, I could keep on repeating how I feel, just like I have the past month or so. You know, but it's already quite highly disclosed how I feel. And Mr. Snow just momentarily mentioned that and I quote, "We know these two are worthy contenders, and yet, for some weird reason, if both of us, I'm gonna give you the short straw here. If both of us, Chairman, Bossman, were worthy competitors and worthy contenders with 8 spaces available, why not fit 2 of them with the 2 biggest draws in your company right now?" So I find that A, insulting, and B, a load of bull-ish. I don't believe
Okay.
for a second that you've got my interests at heart and, oh, I know that Kyle is good and a worthy contender. I think that is a load of crap. Because if it was, I'd be in there, and sure, I'll give Connor his flowers. He would be in there too, but I should be in there.
Well, you might be in there certainly if you win the match against the man to our right here, and that is Mr. Connor Cage. And Connor, obviously, I watched your match not too long ago against the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, and there is a point that the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, does have a victory over you. But tell us how you feel right now, and what do you want to say to the lawman, Kyle Kennedy?
I've never denied Kyle Kennedy's ability in that ring. I've gone against him myself. But to try and take my place and try and dispute everything I've achieved up to this point, everything I've grinded towards, I don't have the luxury of having the society behind me every time. I don't have the luxury of size and strength. I have to work twice as hard to achieve everything I've gained so far. So, and I certainly don't have a Richard Knights in a management position to vouch for me. So, Kyle Kennedy might even be in this tournament. Other people have been announced, and yet everybody's trying to say that I'm not worthy of this position, that I don't deserve it. I still don't understand that, to be honest.
Can I ask you a follow-up question, Connor? And I have Jenny Hayes in here, and obviously I'll get to Jenny in a second, and I'm looking forward to speaking with Jenny right around this time next Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to getting to Jenny's side of the story. Obviously, very accomplished singer, also has a single out there. But, I mean, for you, Connor, do you feel almost maybe fueled by the critics or even some of your colleagues in the locker room that have kind of said, you know what? Why does Connor Cage deserve this spot? We heard what Disciple had to say. We've certainly heard what the lawman, Kyle Kennedy's had to say, amongst others here in the NSAW locker room. Do you feel maybe fueled or motivated to kind of shut those critics up?
Every single time. I've always been. That's a big motivator for me. To prove myself, that despite my height, my weight, I can hang with the very best of non-stop action wrestling. I fit that description, non-stop action wrestling, to a T, and I always have. So, yeah, it does motivate me. It motivates me a hell of a lot, to be honest. I'm sorry if I'm getting a bit agitated about it, but this means...
That's why we have you here tonight live. That's the whole point. That's why we have a contract signed, to kind of put all the agitation, all the rank back and forth, all the he said, she said, one of them things. We put that all to bed, and we have this match and this signing here with the chairman, Joshua Snow. And Mr. Chair, I almost have to ask, in some ways, as crazy as this sounds, I think that this match very well is kind of a hallmark of what nonstop action wrestling has to offer, because despite what some may say, the lawman Kyle Kennedy and Connor Cage, on both sides, what some may say, these are two of the premier up-and-coming talent, I think, not only in nonstop action wrestling, but all of professional wrestling, because of what they bring to the table, what they've accomplished. Obviously, Connor Cage, seeing his match against JPR, the lawman Kyle Kennedy, everything he's done so far. He's one of the premier up-and-coming talents. He's undefeated right now, so you can say what you want. He is undefeated, and he has certainly been a name. We've seen him now in Blackheart Wrestling. We've seen him in different spots. Connor Cage, obviously, we're going to see next Saturday at the Fountain Church. So I think in a lot of ways, Mr. Chairman, I kind of think that this matchup coming to determine a spot in this tournament, August the 13th, for the World Class championship, I think in a lot of ways kind of is a hallmark of what nonstop action wrestling has to offer.
Could not have put it better than myself. Honestly, these two individuals, I see you already rolling your eyes, Kyle Kennedy, and that's fine. Roll them away. But these two individuals do represent not just themselves, but nonstop action wrestling absolutely well. There is a reason that we selected Kyle Kennedy to go and represent us at Blackheart. There is a reason that we sent Connor Cage to represent us over at GT Ministries. There's a reason that these two individuals represent nonstop action wrestling. Amongst the others that we've sent, it's that they embody nonstop action wrestling to a T. We wouldn't have sent them otherwise. We could go into the ratings, we could go into the draws, but they're both workhorses. They are both the best of the best. And whilst it may be simple to throw Kyle Kennedy into another spot into the tournament, and I fully acknowledge that, I would like to remind you all that there are more worthy contenders out there who are just as worthy as these two that we have here, who can easily fill those spots as well. It's not like we can have every single individual in the locker room be a part of this tournament. Otherwise, it might as well be a participation tournament. It's just to take pity on every single person who walks through those doors. We have to be selective. This is what it's about. Selective. It's not a word I like to use often, but when it comes to finding the best of the best, that's exactly the right word to use. So to pit these two up-and-coming performers against each other, that's not too much of an ask, especially at the caliber that they are at, and it shouldn't be something they complain about.
Absolutely, no question about that in here. And Jenny Hayes says, do not bite the hand that feeds you, Mr. Kennedy. Slugger Hampton, who's coming on here in about a half hour or so, says, indeed, they are, in terms of just seeing what these guys bring to the table as up-and-coming stars, because, well, Slugger saw it firsthand because he was at Summertime Slaughterhouse, and that's what's also great about Nonstop Action Wrestling is that we have other companies that we work with. The door is open here, and I want everybody to follow Nonstop Action Wrestling on Instagram, NSAW Official, and if you're on Facebook, please like their page and support them because this is a up-and-coming company with some great talent here. We've got Joshua Snow. He's the man behind Nonstop Action Wrestling. Connor Cage, up-and-coming star, also the lawman Kyle Kennedy, who's now been on. This is the fourth time he's been on with us, I think, on Sportzwire Radio because people, I guess, seem to like him. And Slugger Hampton's right behind. I mean, he's going to be on next also. This will be, I think, his third or fourth appearance. So, I mean, obviously, he's been on a lot, and that's what we love. We love speaking wrestling here, especially in our UK scene. And also, I want to give a shout-out to Be Strong in Fitness in Swinton because this is where if you watch all the Nonstop Action Wrestling stuff on YouTube or anything else you see, whether it's clips on Facebook or Instagram, that's where all the magic happens. Just like we have the Fountains Church at GT Ministries, just like we have the Buckshot Village Community Center in the LWF or Cloud9 the Lounge at KOW or the Alhambra Lounge over in Morecambe. Be Strong Fitness is the place to be for your nonstop action wrestling coverage. And, of course, that's where it's all going to take place. August 13th, Fire and Gold. And, of course, that 8-person tournament where we are going to see the company's first ever champion here. And, of course, Uncle Ralph here from CCW. Got to give a huge shout out to Uncle Ralph. Tunes in and says, enhanced by your appearance, bro. Well, I don't know whose appearance that might be, but let's get back to that because, obviously, we love Uncle Ralph, but he'll have to clarify what he meant. Maybe the lawman Kyle Kennedy, maybe it's Connor Cage, maybe it's Joshua Snow. But I did want to ask very quickly here before we sign over the contract between both individuals here. The lawman Kyle Kennedy, I did want to ask you, what did it mean to you to be a part of Blackheart Wrestling in their Rumble this past Sunday?
You know, I'm going to do something I don't do very often. I'm going to get quite sentimental.
Don't cry on us, please.
To be chosen as a member of NSAW, don't get me wrong, I love wrestling. I love NSAW, and now I love Blackheart. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to management, boy, oh boy, I could speak for hours, Mr. Bryce. And we already know my feelings, and Bossman over here knows my feelings. But to be chosen personally. And ironically, as much as I slag him off, I'm very appreciative of Mr. Snow over here for personally not even just selecting me to be a member of NSAW, but to be shipped over to Gilesly Theatre to attend Blackheart Wrestling. That was a beautiful moment, an amazing day, and boy, oh boy, Blackheart Wrestling, your roster, wow. Oh my word, did they love a fight and bring it to you, and so do I. Blackheart, I cannot wait to come back. So for the whole reasoning of how do I feel and what was it like, it truly made me feel accomplished, like I'd finally done something. You know, clearly Blackheart saw something in me that obviously NSAW doesn't for some reason.
Well, I mean, that's to be determined on the NSAW part, but I'm happy to see it at Blackheart Wrestling, and some other people are also happy about that here also. And I even got a question for the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, but Uncle Ralph clarifies the appearance of Slugger Hampton. Thank you, Uncle Ralph. I appreciate that for the clarification. Love Uncle Ralph. Jenny Hayes says Blackheart looks like a phenomenal company to be a part of. Absolutely. We love Blackheart Wrestling here on Sportswire Radio, and something tells me in the future we'll be speaking much more about Blackheart Wrestling. So that's a little pipe bomb there. Stay tuned for that. What an impressive show put on by members of NSAW of Blackheart Wrestling. I could not agree more. Our very good friend, of course, the head trainer at Nonstop Action Wrestling, and also a huge part of things over at UKW and GT Ministries, the wild card, Tommy Dillon, says, yes, the lawman Kyle Kennedy can speak for hours, no doubt about that. And I have a question for the lawman. What's, I don't know if this is a joke or not, but what's the best thing you've been arrested for? Should I have even put that question out there? I don't even know why
I mean, fortunately, Mama Kennedy raised a good man. So, unlike the rest of the cretins clearly in the comment section, fortunately for me, I've never been even put in the same sentence as possibly going to jail because I'm actually a decent human being. So.
Well, you're a lawman, right? So obviously being a lawman, I mean, if you were...
I pursue my own justice, Mr. Bryce, hence the lawman moniker.
Well, you and I both share a similar thing in common because in New York City, I'm actually what's called a commissioner of deeds. So essentially, I couldn't be a commissioner of deeds if I had been arrested or of any sort. So we both share something in common. But yeah, he says arrested, not jail, but that you just answered the question. So we'll move on from that. But I did want to ask, before we get to the contract signing here, I want to go back to Connor Cage, because obviously, Connor, I wanted to ask you one more time before next Saturday. Just conversely, we heard about what the lawman Kyle Kennedy had to say about being a part of Blackheart Wrestling, and we've seen most, if not close to all of the names so far announced here in GT Ministries for the 30-person Rumble. And also, we'll break it here that we will have on somebody else in the society next week on Sportswire Radio. So stay tuned for that. So certainly stay tuned. That'll be a cue. I'll definitely break that in the segment with Slugger Hampton in a little while. So that'll be a cue. So there will be another society member on next week on Sportswire Radio. So July 13th, you're going to get back-to-back coverage. You're going to get back-to-back coverage. Jenny Hayes and a member of the society. And it's not the lawman Kyle Kennedy this time. It's not, because I don't think we can afford to keep paying him to come on Sportswire Radio. So that's a cue. We'll say that in a little while. But, Connor, I mean, what's it going to mean to you next week in the Fountains Church representing NSAW as a part of the GT Ministries Rumble? What's that going to mean to you?
It's going to mean a hell of a lot. Sorry, Albert. Can I say hell? Well, it's going to mean a lot.
You can say hell. Hell, you could say it.
Yeah, I should have probably asked that beforehand.
Gareth Angel may not want to hear the word hell, but it's okay. You can say it here on Sportsfire.
It's a huge chance. It's not only to show what I can do in the ring, but also representing Nonstop Action Wrestling. Like, this will be my second chance to do that. And working with, there's like so many different people here. There's going to be GTM themselves. There's guys from BTW there. There's the GTM Academy also is going to be there. Which I trained with them last Thursday. I did, actually, and they're really passionate as well. So I'm actually really interested in facing a few of them as well, to be honest. So, like, it's like the past, present, and future of wrestling right in that. So that's like that's huge to me. That's incredible. I just can't wait for it, to be honest. Like,
Well, me either. I'm very, very excited about that. And it's going to be a little weird, interesting, I guess, if you're a GTM Academy person, when you see Sean Only in the Rumble and he's training you each and every Thursday. So that's going to be kind of a wild moment there. And obviously, that's a cheap plug for the
and Tommy
Academy.
Dillon as well. So
Yeah, but I feel like everybody in NSAW has probably been getting beat up by the wild card Tommy Dillon for, 7, 8, 9 months now. So that's going to be second nature. But Sean Only is a very big deal. And I think the fact that Sean Only kind of right now is almost the head trainer of GTM, that's kind of a big deal to be in the Rumble and share some moments in there with him. So we'll look forward to that. And also, again, shout out to everybody at GT Ministries UK on Facebook, also Instagram, Twitter. Also follow their page. And we'll certainly get into more GTM with Slugger and also DB Riley in a little while as well. But Mr. Chairman, obviously I want to get to the point now. After all the talking, we've heard a little bit here, the back and forth. I want to make it official now here and signing the contract and getting this match here in place and then getting the guys' reactions afterwards. So I think it's a big moment here for Sportswire Radio. It's a big moment for Nonstop Action Wrestling. Let's make it official, Mr. Chair, between Connor Cage, Kyle Kennedy, August 13th. The winner of this match will be in that 8-person tournament to crown our first champion here of NSAW.
Absolutely. You'll find the relevant documents have already been forwarded to each of you. So all I need from the both of you is a signature, whether you've requested it on paper or through email. You should have both of that already. So it's down to you now. I'm just awaiting for your signatures, Kyle Kennedy and Connor Cage.
no hesitation here.
Do you have a pen, the lawman, Kyle Kennedy?
I don't need a pen.
Oh,
Already
okay.
signed it.
Oh, you did?
Already
Wow, that was quick.
Signed, sealed, and delivered, boss. Check your inbox.
Yep, I've just had that come through.
Wow, tell you what, sign, seal, deliver, I'm yours. That was one of those songs in the 70s. The lawman Kyle Kennedy just could have sang that there. That was well done. And it looks like Connor Cage has got the pen in hand. And anything you want to say before you sign, Connor? Anything that you want to do before you put that pen to the paper?
Be sure you want to do this. Be very sure.
I couldn't be more sure, Kyle Kennedy, to be honest. So,
On your head be it. Sign away,
Yeah.
boy.
enough wasting time, to be honest. Let's get this over with. Done.
Wow, I tell you what, I almost feel like we're in like a prime minister's office or a presidential office when they do they sign the laws. That's what I kind of feel right now. So it's official now, Mr. Chair. I mean, how do you feel, Mr. Chair?
I have to feel impartial about this, regardless of my feelings. This is just business at the end of the day. For Kyle Kennedy, it's a chance for them to be able to be a part of the Fire and Gold tournament. Same goes for Connor Cage, but in this case, it's to retain their spot. The only outcome that I'm waiting on is to see who wins this match. Whether we'll see Kyle Kennedy's streak broken or whether we'll see him enter into the tournament. And that's all there is to it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it here on Sportswire Radio. You got the first ever contract signing, which we saw just now between the lawman Kyle Kennedy and Connor Cage. And the winner of this match will be entered into the 8-person tournament to crown NSAW's first ever world-class champion. And of course, if you want to buy some tickets and you want to come out and see the action at Be Strong Fitness, August the 13th in Swinton, you can go to NSAW Official. You can also go to Nonstop Action Wrestling on Facebook for more information, because this is a company, I got to tell you something, this is a company that I really love what they're doing. I really love the energy. I love the passion. Anytime you go on Facebook and you see wrestlers. They're always training. They're always with each other. I mean, just they do a phenomenal job. Tommy Dillon does a phenomenal job as our trainer. I know our guy Disciple here helps out sometimes. I mean, we had in the past Old School MC2 was a big help. I mean, there are so many people here at NSAW who are doing a great job here. Let's support those who support us here on Sportswire Radio. Also, Mr. Justice Kyle Kennedy. Also follow him on Instagram. Joshua Snow, give him a friend request on Facebook. Connor Cage, Connor_Cage. Make sure you follow this guy because this is a guy, and this is a guy right here that they're going to be doing big things in the wrestling world. They're going to be, who knows where they're going to be. We're going to be little guys on the totem pole when compared to the success that they have here. And Uncle Ralph also says, I am looking forward to my first visit to GT Ministries July the 16th. Jenny Hay says, I'm looking forward to your match, guys, here. All right, so let me ask you guys this question. You've got another about 15 or so minutes. We'll keep the guys a little brief here tonight because we want to get to Slugger Hampton because Slugger's got a lot to say, and he might even say something about the Lawman Kyle Kennedy. Something tells me that he'll have something to say for sure. He will for sure. Slugger Hampton definitely is a man that doesn't mince words, and he's got his own show, by the way. You know what? I'm going to do a cheap plug here because the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, correct me if I'm wrong, you were doing appearances on shows, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, so I'm going to actually do something here this is a pipe bomb. I shouldn't even do this, but I'm going to do this. A cheap plug here tonight on Sportswire Radio because I got Joshua Snow, I got the chairman of Nonstop Action Wrestling, I've got Connor Cage. I'm pretty sure that's correct, and I'll also have another announcement when it comes to another guest here for Nonstop Action Wrestling next week. I'll do all that in a second, but I'm actually going to do something here. Is, to my word, because, well, I was on the show, Slugger Hampton and the Working Class Militia and Top Tier, they have a show on Facebook as a part of Colory Championship Wrestling. Friday nights around 9 p.m. British Standard Time. I think that Slugger Hampton, if he's looking for more guests, I got 3 right here. I got the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, I got Connor Cage, and of course I got the chairman of Nonstop Action Wrestling, Mr. Joshua Snow. So I got to tell you, Slugger, if you're looking for some more guests, if you're looking to continue to open the forbidden door, NSAW, CCW, I mean, look no further. I mean, certainly look no further. I mean, these would be the guys that I would definitely want to bring on if you're looking to get some more guests. So that's going to be my little pipe bomb. So that's here nor there. And looking forward to your match, guys. Going to keep a close eye on it. And for you, my friend, there's going to be a special announcement here right before I throw it back to Slugger Hampton and DB Riley in about 15 minutes. So you're going to want to tune in for that. But let me get to words for you guys. So, Lawman Kyle Kennedy, I want to ask you, what would it mean to you to win this match against Connor Cage, be a part of the 8-person Fire and Gold Nonstop Action Wrestling World Class Title Tournament August 13th?
Vindication, Mr. Bryce. Vindication. I'm clearly the guy that isn't wanted, but sure as hell needed. I'm the guy that don't go to them, they come to me. Just like Remus, DeCaro, and Knights came to me, just like Mr. Snow came to me and asked for me to be a part of NSAW. Just like you, Mr. Bryce, came to me and asked me to be a part of your show.
I did. I admit that. I admit.
What this means to me is a lifelong dream to prove not only to the doubters, but to myself. Because I'll admit it, I can be a tad little brash, but that's because I know how damn good I am. And people see that as a problem. Some people see it as a threat. Well, that's not my fault or my issue when I already know how good I am, how talented I am. And so does Josh, so does Connor, so do you, and so does everybody else within the society, my fellow peers from NSAW and Blackheart. I know how damn good I am, and I have worked my ASS off for this opportunity, and I deserve it more than anyone else. So, Golden Boy, you were shafted and just given this opportunity just because, well, because people clearly have this affection and affiliation and love for you. And that's okay if you enjoy being liked and cheered. And I've been at every single show, and I hear all the way in the back the golden boy chants. And that's okay if you like being cheered and beloved by menial, just people who don't even matter to me. That's okay for you. It's not good enough for me. I don't need boss man's adulation. I don't need yours. No offense, Mr. Bryce. I have nothing but respect for you, but I don't need yours either.
Hey, feel free. Say what you want, the lawman.
I just need my brethren of the society. I just need a middle of a ring. Because that's when I truly shine. And come the date, the contract has been signed. And come the date of when me and you were in that ring together, Mr. Cage, it's not going to be some quick little 5-minute one and done thing. I'm going to drag this out. And I'm going to prove to you you've made a fatal mistake. And I'm going to prove to you, boss man, you've made a fatal mistake. And all the naysayers and doubters saying that I've just gotten everything because of my affiliation with management, thanks to Richard Knights, and my affiliation with Remus and Dakara. Let me again remind you of something. I didn't go to them. They came to me. Just like you did, Snow. So when push comes to shove, Cage, as CM Punk once said, you'll come to realize that come fight day, your arms are just too short to box with God.
Strong words. Once again, from the lawman, Kyle Kennedy, and Jenny Hayes says, actions speak louder than words. They're empty words if you can't back it up, so prove yourself to everyone.
5-0, Jenny. 5-0. Those are my actions, honey. You can keep coming up with, oh, well, actions speak. 5-0. 5-0, damn it. I'm sick of this. I am undefeated, damn it.
You speak the truth. You speak the truth there. 5-0. Very impressive. But all of these have been singles matches, which, let's be honest, haven't had a lot behind them. They have just been there to pump up the numbers. This is the one. This is the one where you have to unshackle yourself. You have to bring yourself out to the full extreme. And I'm saying this as well to Connor Cage. You have to be at the very best. Because this isn't just to pump up a number. This is for a spot to get championship gold around your waist. A title belt. If you can't perform on the day, then all we know is that when it comes down to it, you can only win a match to try and pump up your numbers, and that's it.
Connor Cage, I'm going to give you the opportunity here to ask you what it would mean to you to be into the tournament, which originally you were the first person to actually be announced, but actually now to win this match, to defeat the lawman Kyle Kennedy, to end the streak, as some might say. Right now it is one of the more impressive streaks right now in all of professional wrestling. I mean, what would this mean to you to be able to now be in this tournament, especially with a win like this, after everything that's going on?
It means I'm proving that I was picked first for a reason. There's a reason why you have the likes of Kyle Kennedy and Dante Okara pining for this position continually over and over again till they get what they want. And there's a reason I'm in GT Ministries and showing up in Bolton Town Wrestling. There's a reason why I'm there every single day. Well, every single week, I mean. Apologies. Because I am the hardest working person here. And there's no denying that. it might be a nickname that everyone's given me, but there's a reason why they give me that, and a reason why they cheer it. And you can be ungrateful for everyone, for that crowd who have given you everything you have. And I don't mean to suck up to them, but I have been in their position. I have been a fan, and now I'm a wrestler, a professional wrestler at Non-Stop Action Wrestling, and it would give me my vindication to beat you, Kyle Kennedy, in that ring, because I am the better wrestler through and through, day in and day out.
All right,
And I've
very strong words here. Let me get to Pride's comment here real quick. 5-0, but how many have been honestly won with true-handed tactics and the honor of a warrior? How many were cheated? How many did you treat your opponent without due respect? A streak dishonesty earned means nothing. But hey, they do say in sports, like anything else, win's a win. So he is 5-0, the Lawman Kyle Kennedy. So certainly the Lawman is undefeated, and we'll find out if he will be undefeated August the 13th. Fire and Gold. Also want to make sure, again, NSAW official Instagram, Facebook, Nonstop Action Wrestling. Also follow these two great individuals here, the Lawman Kyle Kennedy and Connor Cage. So I want to get to closing thoughts here and then let everybody get the opportunity to speak before we get on the working class militia here in a few minutes. And obviously I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I also want to get to a couple of announcements here before I do that. The first one is here officially. We sort of announced it, I think, yesterday, but obviously we just threw out that audio in somewhere out there. But obviously I will also throw it out there that this Monday night, we will have on 7:30 p.m. from management, Richard Knights. So we will have on Mr. Knights. So certainly the Lawman Kyle Kennedy, I have a feeling that you are definitely going to be listening to that one. I'll get the story here for Mr. Knight. Plus, also, we're going to have an announcement related to Nonstop Action Wrestling. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to tell you, regardless of whether you're a fan of Mr. Knights, whether you're a fan of Connor Cage or Joshua So or anybody else that we speak of in Nonstop Action Wrestling, he will be speaking on behalf of management for an announcement. So that's the first part. Second part, we are obviously announced Jenny Hayes. But the most important part that we also have to announce, there's a society member I'm going to announce, but I'm going to do it in slugger spots. So that way, that'll be a cue because I want to at least give a bone to Nonstop Action Wrestling fans to turn over and listen to CCW. But we will have on Killjoy. Killjoy is going to be on. That's right. Next week, he is going to be on the 14th of July. We're actually going to do a Nonstop Action Wrestling leading off into Bentley, and then Bentley and Disciple will have a face-off. But Killjoy is going to be opening things up Thursday night on the 14th, 7 o'clock British Standard Time. So I'm very, very excited to get Killjoy's sound of things. In fact, I promised Killjoy for a while we would get him on. So Killjoy is going to be in the house on the 14th of July. That'll be around 7 o'clock British Standard Time. And then right after, you're going to definitely want to hang out because we're going to have on Bentley and then Bentley and Disciple in a face-off right before the GT Ministries Rumble. So that is all great stuff in the works here. Jenny Hayes, I mentioned also. Plus, in a little while, I will announce another member of the society to come on right after Jenny Hayes next Wednesday. So that's all great stuff here in the works. So I want to thank again Nonstop Action Wrestling for creating all these opportunities. And the man, of course, behind CCW, Joshua Snow's counterpart, Mr. James Barris, says, will the Lawman be undefeated in CCW? Well, they have an event coming up July 29th. If the Lawman Kyle Kennedy's not doing anything, maybe we'll find out. Hey, who knows? I mean, we've got NSAW management here. We've got CCW management here and Mr. James Barris. So stay tuned.
Just give us a message. Just give us a message.
We'll certainly find out here.
Give me the message. Knowing him, I probably won't get it. So, Mr. Barris, shoot me an email. Shoot me over on Instagram.
And I will say, related to Mr. Barris, we actually have a message from Mr. Barris. I won't say what the message is, but I can tell you that we will have a pretty big guest on behalf of CCW right before their event on July the 29th, Lamped Lockdown, which, by the way, is sold out. Their 10th consecutive sellout. So all I'm going to say related to that, you can certainly find out here in the next few weeks. And something tells me here, many wrestling fans are going to want to tune in and find out who that guest may be in the next few weeks and what that announcement will be. So stay tuned for all of that. But I want to get to closing thoughts and reactions from everybody here for the last time before August 13th, before everybody goes out there and competes for this spot. So let me first of all go with Connor Cage. Connor, I'm going to give you the floor. Any final thoughts you have toward the lawman Kyle Kennedy before the next time you see him in the ring? And again, there's a lot in the line for you, obviously, going into this tournament, but also getting redemption because the lawman Kyle Kennedy does hold the victory over you. He has defeated you in the ring before. So he's feeling pretty good, I'm sure. He's feeling like, you know what? I got what I wanted. I've beat you once. Connor, I'm giving you the floor. What would you like to say before the match as your final words to the lawman, Kyle Kennedy?
I'd like to say that I'm looking forward to it. To proving everything I've said up to now. I'll never beat you on the mic, that's for sure. I know that. But put me in a squared circle in that ring, it'd be a whole different story. History is not going to repeat itself this time. Floor's yours.
The lawman, Kyle Kennedy, I'll give you, obviously, your last words to Mr. Connor Cage. You got to be feeling good. Some may say you got what you wanted, but you do have a victory over Connor Cage, which we saw a few months back. So you've got the numbers game. You've got a win under your belt, a feather in your cap toward Connor Cage. So I'm going to give you the floor and your final words here to Connor Cage before the next time you guys see each other, which will be in the ring.
To those people that say, quote, Kyle Kennedy's got what he wanted, well, you're very ignorant and stupid. This isn't what I wanted. I wanted in the tournament. I don't need nor want to face Connor Cage, and it's certainly not because I know I can't beat him, and it's certainly not because I'm intimidated by the little guy. It's because I don't need to prove myself. My undefeated record speaks for itself. And while this lame-o over here has done nothing of note, I've appeared on every single NSAW show, undefeated. And yet, Connor Cage over here gets his finger up inside management somehow and is in the tournament. And unfortunately, the lawman has to earn his way. What about if I became your bestie, Mr. Snow? What about if I text you and call you and message you every day? Would I then be in the tournament? What if I got the people to chant, lawman, lawman, lawman? Would I be in the tournament then? I think it's ridiculous. Now, I'm speaking. You be quiet for a second. You'll have your turn. I think it's ridiculous that unlike him, I have to earn it. And you might come across and be like, well, you see, Mr. Kennedy, Connor Cage has earned it. Please tell me how. He's done nothing of note. He's nothing but a loser. He had bits ripped out of him by JPR and multiple people in and out of training and on the previous shows he's attended and been on. From NSAW to BTW to GTM. And yet, I'm not in the tournament, but he is, and I think that's ridiculous. But do you know what? I'll do you a solid. I'll prove to you that he ain't worth his weight in gold. Wink, wink. Get it? Gold, golden boy. I'm not here for this whole let me entertain you and let me be your favorite guy and please cheer me and respect me and watch me put on a masterclass of professional wrestling. I'm here to hurt people. I'm here to win. And I'm here to become world-class champion. That's exactly what I've done so far and proven so far. And come August 13th, Mr. Bryce, Mr. Cage, Bossman, and all the little cretins in the comments, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, strong words here. Let me get to a few comments before I get to closing thoughts here from Mr. Snow. And Mr. Barris says, good luck to all of you at Nonstop Action Wrestling. And Mr. Barris also adds toward you, Mr. Snow, toward you specifically. I would put up with this at CCW, Mr. Snow. Put your foot down, Mr. Snow. That's what he wants. He wants you to put your foot down. We have here, Kyle, your mouth is trash as the legitimacy of your 5-0 winning streak. Underhanded tactics count for about 3 of your wins. Kyle Lawman, Kyle Layman, more like Go Connor. Jenny Hayes says, I thought toddlers stomped their feet and shouted to get their own way. Go Connor, Kyle sucks. And Tommy Diamond, who's waiting for Slugger Hampton, says, good evening, gentlemen, which he is actually going to be on here in a few minutes, so we will wait for that. But certainly all of a sudden, I guess the fan temperature right now is Connor Cage over the Lawman, Kyle Kennedy. And obviously somebody from UKW, who we sort of know very, very well here, is tuned in and says, I should keep my eye on this. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, certainly when it comes to this individual, yeah, and certainly we would certainly want to keep an eye on him and certainly follow what he does in UKW because he is a big-time star out of UKW. So that means we have a lot of eyeballs right now on us. We got UKW, we got CCW, we got GT Ministries, we got NSAW. Who knows who else is watching us right now? So those are all good stuff. But Mr. Snow, I'm going to give you the floor here. I'm going to give you final thoughts and anything else you want to say.
Well, Mr. J-Ro Lewis, I recently heard you defeated the Society members at UK Wrestling to become #1 contenders for the UK Wrestling Tag Team Championships. So congratulations. I really hope you put them to rest and that you become the new Tag Team Champions at WrestleBration. But concerning this, Mr. Kennedy, if you were to constantly message me, which honestly is all you ever do, I would not class you as a friend. I would class you, with all the actions that you've said, as a stalker. But regardless of that, moving on from that, all I want to see is a winner from this. Honestly, I'm here for business. You really do not want me to put my feelings into this. Because the moment I put my feelings into this, Mr. Kennedy, you wouldn't even be a part of it. I only am entertaining this because everybody else in management is saying, give them a shot. Give them a shot, Mr. Chairman. Maybe they deserve it. Maybe they deserve it because they have been doing well in matches, and I grant you that. You have been doing well in matches, but you know what? Other than some of the losses that Connor Cage has been dealt, they have recently managed to clock up their own victories as well. Victories is not something that is unique solely to you. Put up or shut up, come up this match. And if you don't win, you're the only one to blame for it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, strong words here. And of course, Mr. James Barris continues to say, I am definitely keeping my eye on the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. So, Mr. Barris, as we wait for Slugger Hampton and D.B. Riley of the Working Class Militia, where we'll speak a lot about Cole Not Dog, get everybody ready for Lamp Lockdown, and of course, GT Ministries' upcoming 30-person Rumble next Saturday at the Fountains Church, where I'm sure Slugger's going to speak about quite a bit. Connor Cage, he's keeping his eye right now, Mr. Barris, on Kyle Kennedy. So Mr. Barris might be scouting some future talent of CCW here. So there could be a future here. So certainly Jenny Hayes is happy for all of this great stuff. And I'm looking forward to speaking with you, Jenny, next Wednesday live. So I'm happy about that. Certainly I can't match your singing pipes, but we'll certainly be lucky to be graced by your presence. So I want to give everybody here final thoughts, any social media they want to plug, and I'll go first with Connor Cage. So Connor, I turn it over to you. Floor is yours. Any social media you want to plug out there for some different companies watching and listening to this? Fire away, my friend.
I think you already mentioned them. To be honest, everything I use, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Some people like to keep plugging. Some people, they just, for whatever reason, they want to plug it themselves. So I always like to give people that opportunity anyway.
I appreciate that. I think you've mentioned all of them. To be honest, I'm good. So.
All right. Well, listen, Connor Cage, you can follow him, Connor_Cage on Instagram, Twitter. He is also on Facebook. Give him a friend request. If you're a wrestling promoter out there, give him a look. He is definitely an up-and-coming wrestler. He is in a lot of ways what NSAW has to offer. So, the Lord Man Kyle Kennedy, you are certainly no stranger to this. At this point, I probably should say, when are you coming back? Maybe next week, the following week, who knows at this point. I probably could ask you, would you like to come on every day because you give us the ratings? Clearly, the Lord Man Kyle Kennedy equals ratings at this point. In some ways, you're almost like in the Attitude Era, X-Pac, I believe, is actually in the highest rated segment. I think, and don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure I heard this somewhere. X-Pac is in, I think, the highest rated Raw segment of all time. In some ways, I'm sure the Lord Man Kyle Kennedy is probably in the highest rated Sportswire radio or highest viewed, most viewed Sportswire radio show in history. I'm sure that's going to happen at some point. So you do kind of have, in some ways, that X-Pac heat for us, but I give you the floor, my friend, and anything else you want to say, anything you want to plug that we haven't, and the floor is yours, my friend.
Give me a follow on Twitter, Lawman K. Kennedy. Instagram, Mr. Justice Kyle Kennedy. Like my Facebook page, Kyle Kennedy. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kyle Kennedy. Anything else I want to plug or promote or anything, August 13th, we've got Fire and Gold. I'll keep promoting because as much as I don't like management, I like NSAW and I like wrestling. So Fire and Gold, August 13th. I don't know when tickets are going on sale, but as soon as I know, everyone else will know. And, I'm sure I've got some more Black Hat things coming up soon. I don't know when, but again, when I know, you'll know. And who knows, maybe some future prospects with CCW. Maybe Mr. Thompson would like to give me an opportunity at GTM. Maybe a certain someone can get my name out there into UKW. But at the end of the day, I just love wrestling. I love fighting. My home is in the middle of that ring. And if you want me, you know where to find me. And if you want ratings, if you want a draw, if you want butts in seats and sold out shows, you come to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Justice himself, the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. Thank you again, Mr. Bright. It's always a pleasure coming on here. And whenever you want me, I'm yours.
I'll tell you what, I will say one thing before I get to Mr. Snow as we're waiting for the arrival of Slugger Hampton and D.B. Riley, obviously the Wolf of West Yorkshire, in a few minutes. We're just waiting for them to come on. I will say one thing, the Lord Man Kyle Kennedy, whoever does his YouTube, whoever does his editing, every day I see something new from the Lord Man Kyle Kennedy. He's got music, he's got matches, interviews. He's literally got, of all the wrestlers, he might have like the best YouTube I see. Bentley's pretty good. Bentley does a good job, but I always see something new from the Lord Man Kyle Kennedy. So you could just live on the Lord Man Kyle Kennedy's YouTube page and watch almost WWE Network-like coverage of himself. It's almost like the Kyle Kennedy Network. Hey, listen, cheap plug, and I disagree with Travis Cox because he says Kennedy's socials are at the bottom of the trash can. You obviously haven't gone to his YouTube page and watched great matches and great footage of him. But, Mr. Chair, I want to give you the floor. Anything you want to plug, say on behalf of NSAW before we get on the guys from Top Tier and Working Class Militia. And the floor is yours, and I'm looking forward to having you back on here and certainly looking forward to having you on here after Mr. Knights next week.
It'll be a pleasure. It's always been a pleasure to talk to you every time we come on here, Mr. Bryce. But to plug, don't forget to follow Non-Stop Action Wrestling on both Facebook and Instagram. You can also find our YouTube page for Non-Stop Action Wrestling, where you will find Christmas Carnage, our first ever show that we put on, as well as 2 Asylum matches, which involves 2 of these individuals down below, Kyle Kennedy against Mikey Future, and Connor Cage up against Kyle Kennedy's mentor, Remus Kane. And don't forget, Fire and Gold, August 13th, where we will crown our very first world-class champion in an 8-man tournament.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, all great things here, and certainly NSAW coverage continues on Sportswire Radio all throughout. Next week, we have wall-to-wall coverage. Next week, before we bring on the guys from CCW, we have wall-to-wall coverage when it comes to Richard Knights. We're going to have on Jenny Hayes. We're going to have on Killjoy. We just broke it here. We also have a society member that is also going to be on here next week. And then Dante Okara the following week. So we have a lot of coverage here when it comes to nonstop action wrestling. And something tells me in between that, the lawman Kyle Kennedy will be here because we do ask him all the time to come. So what can I say? I have to admit it. Listen, we do ask him a lot to come on. And also Bentley and Disciple in between that. That's going to be a doozy. So certainly Disciple has made his presence felt, and I can't wait for that face-off. So you got a lot of coverage here. Gentlemen, I can't thank you enough. I'm looking forward to the future here of NSAW. I'm looking forward most especially to this match at the Be Strong Fitness Center coming up August the 13th. And something tells me here I will have you guys back on. Congratulations at Blackheart Wrestling, the lawman Kyle Kennedy. Looking forward to watching you, Connor, live because I'm going to watch you at GT Ministries live on YouTube, GT Ministries in that Rumble. So make us proud here on Sportswire Radio. And Mr. Chairman, thank you as always for giving us these great opportunities here to speak with top talent and yourself as always.
Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here on Sportswire Radio with non-stop action wrestling coverage with Joshua Snow and Connor Cage, along with Lawman Kyle Kennedy. Want to do it one more for the road because actually we had a couple of minutes to kill because Slugger is going to join us in about 5 minutes. So I thought, why not give it a longer entrance here? But you are here on Sportswire Radio with these individuals. We will be up and running here shortly in about 2 or 3 minutes with the guys from Top Tier, that is Slugger Hampton and DB Riley. And I am the host of the Sports Report and the station manager here of Sportswire Radio, the Reverend Tom Bryce. And in fact, since we got 2 or 3 minutes, I'm actually going to do a bonus here. I know we closed out, but I actually want to ask Connor and Kyle Kennedy one more thing specifically, because we got these CCW guys on here, and obviously they were at Summertime Slaughterhouse. And I want to go specifically because I got a couple minutes to kill, and I said, you know what? Let's maybe tease more of this NSAW and CCW. I mean, Connor, would you want to see, hypothetically, even though I don't know, those tag team titles defended from the CCW guys at NSAW? Because why not? What's best for business, right? I know we're crowning our first ever world-class champion, but shouldn't we see maybe some titles defended NSAW? Because, hell, the Working Class Militia defended their belts in GT Ministries. What do you think?
I say why not, but I'm not management at CCW or NSA, so that's down to
I got
them.
Mr. Snow for that. Mr. Snow, you know what? I'm waiting on Slugger. I'll fire the shot on him in a few minutes. But since we're waiting for him and he's actually in a little bit of a pickle, so we'll get him on in a second. But what do you think, Mr. Snow? Because I saw those CCW titles defended at GT Ministries a few months back. What do you think about maybe the CCW tag team titles defended? Oh, I don't know, in Nonstop Action Wrestling Fire and Gold, August the 13th.
Well, all I have to say to that is, CCW, get in touch. That's all I need to say for that. Get in touch and let's see what business we can discuss.
The lawman Kyle Kennedy, I got to ask you, should gold from other companies, like let's say in CCW, be defended in NSAW?
I'm just going to put this out there. If I'm not successful against Mr. Cage, I'm sure, if possible, Mr. Snow and Mr. Barris see fit, I can get either Remus or DeCaro to join me, and we could crown new tag team champions at Fire and Gold. How about that?
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, that's a cue because the working class militia are about to join. So that tells me here that's something that we're going to speak quite a bit about here on Sportswire Radio. So all great stuff. Gentlemen, thank you for all you do. Thank you for coming on here for this historic contract signing. I'm looking forward to this match and continuing more wall-to-wall coverage of nonstop action wrestling. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very
And you,
much.
Tom.